different plants, different voices, and different ways of having conversations. It's time to get personal with plant medicine. Welcome to Getting Personal with Plant Medicine. I'm your host, Diana, and today I am joined by Douglas LaRose of the Kava Coalition. How are you doing today, Douglas?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful, Diana. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. I'm sure this won't be the first time. So let's start at the beginning with your journey with Kava. Like, where did that start? Or how did it start?
Yeah, yeah, it's a story that I've told many times, but I never get tired of telling it. So when I was about 19 years old, I was a young community college student in San Diego, and it was like 2001, and I was working at a health food store, and I was very stressed and anxious all the time. I was like taking way too many classes, like I think 5 or 6 per semester, and just putting a lot of pressure on myself. And I was looking for a way to relax at the end of the day, that wasn't going to like dissociate or like have any negative health effects. And I was a little bit weary of cannabis because cannabis always fueled like a paranoid reaction in me. So like the normal routes were not really working well for me, and like I didn't want to use alcohol as a crutch because that's very problematic. And there was this section of the store that I worked in that was like a food medicine pharmacy type area where they sold supplements and other products and whole herbs. And I went through everything. I tried like valerian root and like really strong chamomile tea. And then eventually one day, a product called Kava King came on the shelf, and I was like really curious about it. But the people that worked there were kind of wary of it. They thought that maybe it could cause like hepatotoxic side effects, because that's what like Google was saying. But I eventually like got the courage to try Kava for the first time, and the very first time that I used Kava, it was like my eyes were fully open. It had the desired effect the very first time, which I know is not the case for a lot of people, but for me, it was like I could feel my stress just like peeling off of my body, the first time I tried Kava, and then I drank it like over the years in a lot of different forms, like the yogi tea stress relief tea bags
Mm-hmm.
that are like probably like 150 200 milligrams of kava lactones, and just kept with it until finally I saw that they were selling medium grind powder, which is like what you drink at a kava bar.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got like really obsessed with like trying all the different kavas that were available, from different countries, and started blogging about it, on the Kava Sewer blog, which some people who listen to your wonderful podcast might have seen that blog over the years. But that's my origin story. Not exactly like a Marvel superhero origin story, but the one that I'm proud of.
Oh, well, that's great. You should be. It's so interesting that you mentioned that you were working at like a health food store because when I was living in South Florida, that was pretty much how I had like when I was trying to talk about it outside of a kava bar. Um, I was told like, oh yeah, my nutritionist has recommended that. Or I had a friend whose mother was a nutritionist, and she would give it to people who were trying to lose weight, but it was never really used for. I don't. Not that I knew of outside of the kava bar and that
Mhm.
culture. For anxiety, it was used for like other things, like I guess not water loss. What is the word when you're trying to like reduce bloating or something like that? Like that kind of a supplement.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the word is, but
Yeah, I just think that's so interesting to have that like as part of your nutrition, but then not realize that it's like this whole culture, right? And
yeah, for sure.
yeah, to that point, how many kava bars have you visited since you discovered it back then? Like what sets them apart from quote unquote regular bars, like the ones that serve alcohol?
Oh yeah, no, great question. It's kind of it's a great way to ask that question too, like as a comparison. I've been to probably like 50 kava bars, all over the U.S., California, Florida, of course here in Maryland, where I go to your husband's kava bar, which is
Root
when it's
City.
snowing, it's not easy for me to get there, but
Oh, right.
normally I'm almost every day. um, but yeah, so I've been to a lot of kava bars all over the country, and the thing that I always notice when I go into a kava bar is that you typically have like 10 or 15 people who are always there,
Hmm.
like like the same people every day, and they've created this like really strong community and safe place for them to go. At the end of the day when they're stressed from work or whatever, to just be able to drink kava and like talk about their interests, talk about their lives, talk about their problems, whatever it might be. And the interesting thing about that is that's exactly how kava functions in the Pacific Islands.
Hmm.
Is people, they make kava to like settle disputes or to like discuss plans, like during different rites of passage, like marriage and funerals. People drink kava, and like talk about like what's next after this rite of passage. So it's I think unconsciously that's like been reproduced in the U.S. And what sets that apart from regular bars is like everything.
Yeah. I remember we were doing an event last year with the podcast in Root City. It was like an outdoor event type of thing. And JR, who some of you might know is my sometimes co host and producer of the show. But anyway, he was, doing the spiel about what Kava was and taking the drink with everybody. And I like could see the transition because I don't drink kava because that doesn't work with me very well. But
Mhm.
but mainly the taste. I'm not good with the taste. But he was, I could see him going from his usually shy self, like more introverted, to being like way more sociable and outgoing, and so were the people with him. It was really funny because it was like a montage basically of seeing like how he went from just being, he's always super friendly, but going from not really saying anything to just talking and talking and meeting new friends. And it's definitely a different situation than when you see at a bar with alcohol, where some people might go from like loving each other to, you know, fighting in a matter of minutes. I've yet to see that
Absolutely.
happen at a kava bar. Not to say that it couldn't, but I'm just saying I have yet to see it. So you have a lot more experience going into kava bars than I do. That's really interesting that you visited 50 bars. I can't even imagine. Is that what led you to, or is that what led to the creation of the Kava Coalition? And what is that, for those who don't know?
Yeah, so there are a lot of different challenges and opportunities in the kava industry, and as the listeners may or may not know, the kava comes from the Pacific Islands,
Mhm.
and these are like really small archipelagos, in the South Pacific, like Vanuatu and Fiji and the Solomon Islands and Tonga,
Mhm.
and the because of the size of the countries, there's not a whole lot of land to dedicate to kava production. So as a result, kava is like obscenely expensive. As as people are probably familiar with who've ever been to a kava bar, I think right now like 1 kilogram of kava is like $130 or something like that.
Where is this?
So when you go to a kava bar,
Oh, you're
if you
saying
buy
it just
like a
anybody buying it, right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If you buy like a bag of kava off of the internet, you're going to be spending like $130 a kilo.
Okay.
It might even be higher than that now. But so like yeah, like when you go to a kava bar, if you're spending $10 for a shell of kava, like that's kind of like a tall ask for most customers, especially when you compare it to like the other things on the menu. So the Kava Coalition, really wants to focus on improving agricultural production, like in a sustainable way, in the Pacific Islands, and also to advocate and educate the public about kava, because there's been a lot of misinformation and like legal ambiguity about serving kava and kava bars.
Mm-hmm.
So the Kava Coalition came together to try and move the needle forward on those issues.
That's awesome. And to that point, issues, right? There are always issues when it comes to any type of plant medicine. And in particular, when you're talking about the pardon the pun, the root of the usage, the cultural background of this particular plant, um, you always want to keep in mind as a consumer culturally appropriating something, right? So, to that point, how does the coalition try to work in a way to, you know, preserve the culture without culturally appropriating?
Yeah, no, it's a great question and very topical. There's a lot of controversy and debate about this issue in the kava space. I would start by saying the Kava Coalition works in the countries where kava comes from. So we work in Fiji, we work in Vanuatu, we work in the Solomon Islands, we work with the Tongans and the Samoans. Um, we basically make sure that all of those communities and stakeholders are in the conversation. Um, one of the challenges with talking about kava culture is the fact that there are so many kava cultures.
Mm-hmm.
When you go, like even within Vanuatu, like which is the homeland of kava, you have different traditions on different islands. So like when kava culture, quote unquote, started developing in the U.S., like there were certainly some elements that were borrowed
Mm-hmm.
from Fiji, from Vanuatu, but like the full on cultural appropriation of like people trying to mimic or reproduce like rituals and stuff, that I haven't really seen that much of that.
Okay.
So I really don't feel like it would be hard to know like which culture was being appropriated
Right.
if we were being accused of cultural appropriation. But I still think it's really important to be mindful
Mm-hmm.
of using language like bula, of um, clapping your hands when you drink a shell of kava, just to be mindful of like where that comes from
Mm-hmm.
and how to be respectful of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good answer. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, that's pretty much what I've encountered as well for the most part. But, it's just being mindful, like you said, of close practices and also, of origins and respecting them. So, what is your favorite way to consume kava and how did you get to that point? Because as we all know, there's so much trial and error when it comes to plant medicine.
Yeah. I mean, I think with kava in particular, this is like such an important question because your experience really does depend on the medium that you consume kava in. Like when I first started drinking kava, it was mostly instant kava,
Hmm.
and instant kava is basically like where somebody in the Pacific Islands has prepared like kava juice and then baked it and like made like a dehydrated powder that can just be like mixed with water.
Hmm.
Um, that is like not very good for me. Like it's very chalky and like astringent, and when you drink it, like your mouth kind of dries out. Um, I if I could choose to drink kava a certain way and like be able to have access to it, I
Hmm.
would drink fresh kava that's made from just like the fresh squeezed kava roots, like
Hmm.
they do in Vanuatu. But the second best way to drink it is definitely the way that you get it in kava bars here in the U.S., which is just the ground dried kava roots put into a cheesecloth or like muslin bag and like squeezed for 10 or 15 minutes in water with no other ingredients, nothing else mixed in, and then just served in like either like a bowl or a glass. Like that's how I take my kava.
You don't mind the taste at all. You don't try to doctor the taste.
No, no, I've actually like if you go back and watch some of my old connoisseur videos on YouTube, I used to like wax poetic about like the different flavors of kava, and I've learned to actually like enjoy the flavor of kava, which is a bit of a hot take, but I'm here to own it.
Oh, JR likes it too. I'm just like, good for you. Better you than me. Um, so when you say flavors, are you talking about like, I don't know if they would call it strains or veins, but like how with like
Mhm.
kratom, cannabis, they have different um, cultivars. Is that what you mean by that?
Yeah, for sure. Like so you have different cultivars, but you also have like different parts of the root system. So the the long lateral roots that kind of like go out into the soil, those are called waka.
Okay.
And they're like that's like the really strong part of the plant. So it's very like peppery and has like kind of like a grassy, peppery kind of strong flavor to it. And then the stump, like the central part of the root system, is a little bit like more mild and like kind of nutty in flavor.
Hmm.
Um, and then yeah, and then like you said, like across cultivars, you have different flavor profiles too. So
So
yeah,
you were a
a
bit like one of those like sommelier types.
little bit. Yeah, I would I could be accused of worse things. Yeah.
um, so what is one thing that you wish more people knew about kava?
Yeah, I mean, I wish that it's so hard to answer this question because like going into 50 kava bars and like see like hearing the experiences of the kava tenders and the people at the kava bars, one thing that always like comes up is like the really rough way in which people are introduced to the plant medicines like kava and kratom. Like if you're just walking into a kava bar and you're curious, um you're like you're gonna try it for the first time and probably be disappointed, right? Like because it is like a very subtle plant. Like when
Hmm.
you drink kava, you don't get this like huge rush of energy or like huge like pain relief effect right away. It's like this very subtle thing that kind of works in the background and makes you more sociable, reduces your anxiety, but like doesn't really like hit you, like make you feel high. So like if there was one thing that I like would want to see improve in the Kava community and like in the Kava social media space, it would be like educating people about how Kava works, like the benefits of it, those subtle are like very important and like worthwhile, and then also the history and the culture behind it. Um, so basically, like that education gap is what I would love to see addressed.
Yeah, and unfortunately it's difficult right now. Well, I mean, it's becoming increasingly more difficult, I would say, because as we have so much media thrown in our faces all day long, and and all of these other hellfires that are going on at the same time, people are just
Right.
like, okay, reduces my anxiety, that's it, that's all I need to know, right? And then I've seen it happen, like my uncle when he first tried it was like, this isn't, what is this doing, basically, like he just wasn't really trying to understand how it could work. And I mean, because I did like it for a long time, but then all of a sudden my body was like, no.
Yeah.
And it could have been a variety of things. It's, I'm not opposed to trying it again when it's like I've had it in mocktails and things like that, but it has to be heavily disguised for me. I was the same way
Yeah.
about alcohol though. When I drank it, it's like just to use the bar the bar measuring tool right there, because I know it's not alcohol, but these spaces, they're calling them what, third spaces. I've been seeing people call them
Oh
third.
yeah.
So I'm seeing a rise in that, and especially in Baltimore, and I think that's really great because Baltimore is such a cool city, and it's a good thing to just be able to enjoy it when you're sober.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm not saying that there's anything against, if you want to go out and have a drink, that's, that's your thing, fine, But if it's not, then it's great to have that option, Um, because it definitely does make you more social. Like, have you noticed that about yourself? Do you feel like it makes you, or it puts you in a place where you feel like you can socialize easier?
Oh, like 100%. I mean, that kind of like buried in my origin story is like I did have like crippling social anxiety when I was younger, and like kava, like it helped me relax, like when I would like go out like with my friends, like if I just made a little bit of instant kava, it would help me relax and like kind of break through that like shell of anxiety. And over like time, like I would even say that kava like almost cured my anxiety, because like when I would drink kava, I would be able to socialize, and like then over time, like you become less afraid of social interactions, and so it kind of trains your body to, and your brain to like not be panicked when it is thrust into like a social situation. Um, so yeah, and also like when I drink kava now, at the kava bar, for example, like after I've had a couple shells in me, like if I bring a book to the bar, like the book just stays on the bar. Like I'm going to be talking probably more than people want me to.
No, that's great though, because I mean, same thing with JR. Like I said earlier, you could see the animation progression, which I think is really cool because it's something that works pretty quickly. I mean, obviously we've talked about it before. There's a reverse tolerance, right? So that is the other part that is kind of a thing to get, not get over, but learn about, because some people might not really feel anything the first time they try it, right?
Yeah, I think this is a topic that's like very interesting to me, because I actually don't believe in reverse tolerance.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that what's yeah, I think
Hot
like what's
take,
happening.
everybody.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be quoted, and there's gonna be headlines. But I feel like what the reason why the reverse tolerance like narrative is out there is because people are so used to, like, the first time somebody tries cannabis, like they're gonna get like blown away, right? Like by the effects of cannabis, positively or negatively. The first time like somebody tries like psilocybin, like they're gonna be blown away by
Unless
the
you
effect.
tried it with oregano, like I did the first time. I didn't realize what I was buying, so I didn't really feel anything but a headache. So,
Oh, you just smoke some oregano.
yeah, with like a little bit of cannabis sprinkled in there, like not
Okay.
enough to do anything.
But like with kava, I think that the reason why this reverse tolerance narrative has started is because like people just genuinely don't know how to like feel kava when they try it for the first time, because it's so subtle. It's like a chamomile tea. Like the first time, if you have a mug of chamomile tea, like you're gonna feel relaxed,
Hmm.
but like it could also be like a placebo effect kind of thing, right? But like the more you drink kava, the more like your body learns like what to expect from it, and I think that's what the reverse tolerance is like trying to explain.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, I will say that like you don't build a tolerance to kava. So like after drinking it for 25 years, if I use a cup of kava roots to like 2 liters of water, I'm still gonna get like the same effect every night. Um, so I don't need to like drink more and more and more kava. But at the same time, I don't feel like I have like a reverse tolerance to where like I only need like one shell of kava and I'm like fine for the night.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense then. So I know there are products on the market that do combine kava with other botanicals. I
Mm-hmm.
am not a fan of the ones that combine kava and kratom together, even though I'm a huge kratom fan. Obviously, this we talk about it often, and the brand behind the show is a kratom brand, so it's um,
Mm-hmm.
I think they can be consumed in the same day, just in different times in different ways, but not at the same time in the same product. I mean, obviously it can happen. People do it and they sell it. Is there anything that you don't really advise when it comes to kava consumption? Like, are there any interactions that you think that could be avoided?
Yeah, I mean, the only one that I would like specifically emphasize as a big no is combining kava and alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Forgot to mention that one, the biggest one of all. We've seen many a person puking because of that.
yeah, like you're going to be miserable, like in the like, like I guess for one thing you're going to be miserable, but for the other thing, like the unseen damage you could be doing to your liver, and that's not because kava is bad for your liver, but because the combination of alcohol and kava working together on your liver is just like that's too much work for your liver to be doing. Um, with kratom, I like I don't really see a problem. I think it's if the customer wants to have that combination, I think it's fine. I've like experimented with that combination before and gotten like pretty good results, but it's not something like I do very often.
I should probably be more clear about it. I think people do it without being as transparent as they should be, like without understanding what they're consuming. So if they think that they're supposed to have a relaxing situation, and it's not the right kind of, it's not a whole leaf kratom product, and it's not the right strain, then it can be a very negative experience for people who aren't expecting that. So
Mm.
I should probably have clarified. I personally don't like to combine the two either in
Mhm.
products because I find that they're usually, again, not very they're not very whole, they're not whole leaf products, and so
Right,
it can go
right.
in a different direction pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I find that like during the day, if I really need to focus and I'm like working on something, I usually like make a little, use like a half a tablespoon of kratom powder.
Hmm.
Um, and then like after I'm done working, I prepare kava to like to wind down. But I only drink kratom like maybe a few times a month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, so it might be a little different for you than it is for some
and
people.
I usually drink it more for like the energy.
Oh,
Like I
okay.
like it gives me a lot of like energy and focus. Um, but I know most people don't drink it for that.
I mean, I think the green for me, it does it that helps a lot.
Hmm.
So the green
Hmm.
strains. Oh, actually, I always just do a combo of the red and green anyway. So yeah, it helps me in a lot of ways. So
I
before, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to like comment on that really quick because there is like all this random and unfortunate tension in the kava and like kratom community and I guess the wider plant science community about like kava versus kratom. And I like to this day I'm like wondering who's benefiting from that argument because like they're both great plants. Like I mean, I'm a kava guy, so I'm always going to be like going to bat for kava.
Hmm.
But I don't think that like we need to like support one at the expense of the other. And a
Right.
lot of people like think that that is a choice that people have to make. And like, it's like, we could have both and we can all be happy. Like, you
Yeah,
know?
that seems to be a problem across the board with plant
Hmm.
medicine. When we were doing our cannabis focused podcast, we had a lot of hot takes about kratom that I did not agree with. And I didn't understand it because I feel like if you're a plant medicine enthusiast, even if you're only consuming one type of plant, I feel like at the end of the day, your focus should be that everyone should have access. And if it's something
100%.
that you don't use, then it really isn't any of your business. Like, just let those people do what they want to do and what works for them, and, hope that they advocate the same way for you. And a lot of times they are, but people just aren't. I don't know, they're not seeing the other side, I guess. Or they're
Yeah.
just not valuing the plant because they don't like it, which it just to me seems like an oxymoron to be like, oh, I'm an advocate, but I don't want this to be on the streets and I don't want this to be legal. And it just makes no
Yeah.
sense to me.
Yeah. And like, there's been a lot of, I mean, with all of these like 7OH issues and then like contamination of kava products.
Hmm.
Like there are certain things that are threats, right? Like
Yeah,
that will make people sick or like kill people, and like those
sure.
are the things that I think people in the plant medicine community should be focused on addressing rather than like people's decisions that they make about their health.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yep.
Mhm.
I could not agree more. so, so before we go, tell us how people can find you and how they can support you.
Yeah. So if you go to the website for Kava Coalition, I work really hard to keep new stuff coming up on the website. But kavacoalition.org, we have like a lot of resources, including the AHP monograph, which goes over AHP being the American Herbal Pharmacopoeia, which which goes over like the history, the culture, the safety, the botany of kava. That's what we're using to try to work with like regulators and policymakers to understand kava and not see it as this evil thing. And there's also a lot of really good resources on that website. We've also released like a lot of videos. I went to the South Pacific last year to meet with farmers and kava growing communities. So we have like a Vanuatu video and a Solomon Islands video that are out. And then I'd say like on Facebook, um, like because I guess I'm old, according to my kids. If you go on Facebook, there's a community, a group called the Kava Lounge,
Oh.
and I manage that group, and like
Hmm.
that's kind of where I communicate with like the Kava community the most.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, I'm not calling you old. I haven't been on Facebook in years, but but
I know.
I'm sure there are a lot of Kava users out there that do so. Well, I really appreciate all the work that you're doing and sharing your knowledge and your experiences with us today. Please come back anytime.
Thank you so much. It's been great. I love your podcast, by the way.
Oh,
I've
thank
listened
you.
to most of the episodes now. So
Oh, thank you.
Hello, how you doing today? Welcome to Christopher's Corner. Let's start with legislation. Yes, there are new developments happening across multiple states. We're seeing increased scrutiny, proposed restrictions, and in some cases, outright bans being introduced quickly and quietly. Some efforts focus on synthetic derivatives. Others cast a wide net that can impact traditional natural leaf as well as kratom as a whole. If you assume someone else is handling it, that's how bad bills pass. We need to get involved. So how do you get involved? First, join our school community. That's where we break down everything that's actually happening. No fear headlines, no speculation. We'll explain bills in plain language, outline what they really mean, and coordinate action when needed. It's not just discussion, it's strategy, it's education, it's organized response. But we can't do this alone. Please sign up for updates with major advocacy organizations such as the American Kratom Association, the Global Kratom Coalition, International Plant and Herbal Alliance, or the Botanical Advocacy and Education. The more informed you are, the faster you can respond when something develops in your state. You can sign up for updates and get immediate updates in your email or text. Second, attend our weekly tea talks every Thursday night at 7. That's where we go deeper. We answer questions live, discuss new developments, and prepare people to speak confidently if a hearing happens in your state. The more informed you are, the more effective your voice becomes. Advocacy doesn't require anger. It requires clarity and participation. Now let's talk products. White Mangda is ready to go. Our purified kratom capsules continue to be a strong option for customers who want concentrated natural leaf in a simplified format. We are currently producing Green Vietnam, Green Ragu, and Green Mahakam. Those batches are in progress and moving through our normal production release testing processes. Release testing usually takes about 2 weeks to complete. We do not put anything live until it clears third-party verification, and that's the way it's always has been. We've also added ashwagandha to the lineup, and the feedback has been pretty strong. People like ashwagandha. Let me just point out some people mixing ashwagandha and kratom sometimes doesn't work the best, so please study your herbs and understand these plants before you use them. One thing I don't talk about enough is our point system. It's simple and powerful. Every purchase earns you points. Those points convert into real savings on future orders. We don't make it complicated, just loyalty reward in a straightforward way. The more consistent you are, the more points you accumulate. Our point system gives 10% back on all purchases, and for simplicity, each point equals $1. And if you're new, don't forget, we have 2 coupon codes. First time gets you 15% off your first order, and I Love Kratom gets you 10% off your first order. Legislation is moving, the market is evolving, and the only way natural kratom remains protected is through informed consumers who are engaged, organized, and willing to speak up. Please join the community, sign up for updates, attend the talk, stay involved. That's Christopher's Corner. Stay informed, stay steady, and keep standing up for natural kratom and the freedom for people to use it.
Getting Personal with Plant Medicine is brought to you by Christopher's Organic Botanicals and is produced by Your Highness Media.